Okay, hi. It's been a while since I added to my dream diary, but I need to talk about the dreams that I had this morning because they were so vivid and so weird. In the first one, which was very uncomfortable, I had this about 4 a.m. this morning. Um, I was working at my old job, the one that I've just left. And I had, for some reason, I had taken my cat in with me, my cat Belle, and left her sort of wandering around um, the offices and stuff while I was working. And then I ended up staying late in uh, one of the labs, and I kept losing samples of things, and spilling like small, just Eppendorf sized samples of things, and it was getting really difficult, and people kept coming in to tell me I had to leave, and I got really stressed out because I couldn't find the samples that I needed to complete an experiment. And then eventually I gave up and I came out, and somebody mentioned that they had they'd cleared out the rats from underneath the offices, and this is complete random nonsense because there's no rats underneath the offices at my old job, but whatever. But they said they'd used a cat. I was like, which cat? And they said, that cat that's been wandering around, the grey and white one. And obviously I was freaking out because it was Belle, and they're like, oh yeah, got into a fight with one of the rats and it's a bit hurt. And I was like, what? And I was freaking out, and I was like insisting that they take me to see her. And they said, yeah, we took it to the nurse, but she didn't know how to help it. And like I ran in, I was so scared, I was so stressed out, and like I pushed my way through and finally got to the nurse, and she was in a cat carrier, but she had like scratch marks all down her back, and one of her paws was like torn apart, and one of her ears, and she looked so sad and so scared, and I had to get her to a vet as soon as possible, and I was so sorry for having taken her into that place in the first place. I was really stressed out, and then I woke up, and I was drenched in sweat, um, and I immediately called out for my cat, and eventually I found her. She was right underneath my bed, right where I was, slept on the same side as me, just underneath, and I reached down and I patted her for a bit, and I said I was sorry for in my dream taking her to that place. I would never, ever, I promised I would never put her in danger. And then I fell back asleep, and a few hours later, I think this was about 9 or 10 a.m. I'm on holiday this week, so I had another dream which started with me. So I think I've had this dream before, and this is going to take a while because it's... I'm just checking that I've got enough time. Yeah, I do. It's a long dream that fades into other dreams. I think I've had parts of it before. So I was working in this place run by a famous director. I think it was Steven Spielberg. I don't know, whatever. It's like an amusement park type thing, and it's like a inside a video game almost. Really so weird to explain. So there's like a whole lot of puzzles and stuff that you have to solve, and like the main central area is just like this big blue and red room, and it's got like fun stuff for kids to do and that, and then there's rooms that go off it, and like one of the rooms looks like a small cupboard initially, with a table at the back, but if you push the table back far enough you get into this other room. It's like a long rectangular room with like these turrets all around the outside, and there's an automaton that tries to it takes one of the turrets, and turns out it's a bike, and it starts trying to attack you. So you have to get... It was me and somebody else. I think it was a made up person. I don't know if it was anybody real. Like it was like a conglomerate of a few of my friends. Yeah, we had to get on bikes ourselves and try and destroy it, and that was fun. That was really fun because the bikes, they fly and they have like two attacks. One's just like a regular pew pew pew, and the other one was like if you hold down one of the buttons, it generates like this energy ball, and the longer you hold it down, the larger this energy ball becomes, and the larger it gets, the less easy it is to aim it, and it's really destructive. And it basically, yeah, it was a video game style fight where it had a certain amount, like this thing had a certain amount of health, and we had to take it down. Yeah. Eventually, yeah, we did beat that, and then we went back through, and then we took another turn, like we took another door, and that took us into this weird. It reminded me of like a Disneyland type ride where like the older rides, like the Peter Pan rides, Snow White ride, and stuff like that, where it's just sort of features of the film, and it was yeah, you just walked through these things, and then eventually you came out the other side. I don't think anything ever actually happened in there. We just talked as we went around. I can't even remember what we talked about. And then we came back to this big blue and red room, and Spielberg or whoever it was saying that he wanted to sell the place. And me and my friend, my partner, we were, saying that either we would go with him or we would stay on at the park. And we hadn't decided yet, but the person he was selling it to was Donald Trump, who is already president at this point. And this is not the first time that Trump has appeared in my dreams, and it's really, really annoying that he keeps starting up. It's just because I read so much about him, I think. And then I was tasked with, I don't remember how this happened, but basically the deal was going through. It was going to sell to Trump. I was tasked with making sure that Trump got to his next point. So I was walking with him, and we ended up, so the next place he had to go to was another part of this theme park, like a much bigger part of the theme park. And it was, we had to climb up to a tower to get a zip line down into the main part of the park. That was the only way in. So I walked with him, and then he kept getting ahead of me because people would get out of his way, but they wouldn't get out of mine. And then we had to climb up to the side of this tower, which was really slow going because it was like muddy and like there's no real steps and stuff. And he was just like shooting straight up, and I was having real difficulty. And then I kept like catching up with him, and he kept like making fun of the fact that I was so slow. And then eventually we got to the top, and we took this, like everybody around us is like teenagers and college students and stuff. And we eventually got up there, and we had to take this zip line down. We had to like attach the zip line ourselves. It was like a really flimsy attachment as well, and I got really freaked out about the fact that I put it on the wrong way. Like I actually, I started going down the zip line, then I realized it wasn't hooked properly, and I had to like brace myself against the side to like hook it on properly. And then it went down like an initial bit that was just like out in the open, and you could see like most of the park, and then it went through this tunnely bit. And it was really weird because I could actually feel the sensation of flying along this zip line, and then came to the end in like this long blue corridor, like blue-white corridor, and it was like there's a lot of people, like families, and again a lot of like uni students and stuff, and but it was like a mix of like fun things and like scientific labs and security things, like security rooms and stuff. I got myself unhooked, and I like spotted Trump off to the left, and he was like wandering back and forth saying if I was going to turn up, and then eventually I caught up with him. nobody seemed to be recognizing him, and he didn't seem to want to be recognized. Like, he wouldn't wait for a security detail or anything. I kept trying to tell him that, you know, he shouldn't be wandering off, because if something happened to him, and yeah, so then he kept wandering off, like running away from me, and wouldn't listen to me when I said, you know, if something happens to you, it's going to be catastrophic because it's going to cause a civil war. And he was saying that whoever gets me will get them back. And I'm like, yeah, but you will be there to get them back. As much as, like, I never said that I didn't like him, but I was like, as much as people don't like you, like, it's still important that nothing happens to you while you're here, because it will be bad for everybody. And I kept trying to tell the security people that it was him, but he kept, like, getting away from me and running away. Right at the end of the corridor, he eventually lost me, and right at the end of the corridor, it goes out into like a bit of an open landscape, and like straight across from where the end of the corridor was, there was this big round tower with an eye in it, and the eye like focuses on you and looks at you. It's not quite Eye of Sauron-ish. It's more God, I can't think. No, I recognized it anyway. I'm sure it's from some other film or something. But then I ran into this family, a mom, a dad, a grown-up son, and a daughter, and I was saying hi and like asking them about the park and stuff. And the mum turned out to be, she had designed and was the driver for like a Mars mission rover or something, and I got really excited and talked to her about that. And then I turned around and my ex was there as well. He was talking about it, and that was really fun. And then it turned out that there were people getting sick. People were getting like really sweaty, and then they would transform into like radioactive creatures. And then yeah, it kind of became a sort of a race against time to get this fixed before everybody transformed. And then the dream kind of petered off into nothing. But overall, it was really intense and weird. Probably only lasted about a minute and a half in real time, but felt like a really long dream when I was in it. I like those kind of dreams. I mean, I really wish Trump would stop showing up, but otherwise, it was fun. I quite liked it. Gave me a lot to think about and talk about. A lot of cool imagery that I can use for, I don't know, D&D creations or storytelling. Anyway, that was my dreams this morning. One really terrible and one very weird. Okay, I have to go because I'm going to run out of time on my camera.